we now take a look at what the future of mining in Africa could look like. For that, I'm joined in our Cape Town studios by Peter Bryant, Managing Partner at Clareo, who is also serves as a member of the advisory board for the World Economic Forum's Mining and Metals in a Sustainable World 2050 initiative. Peter, thank you so much for joining us today. I do understand that you are at the Mining Indaba and actually gave a brief update today on what the future of mining could look like on the continent. If we do take a long-term view and the cycle that we're currently in, is it or are we finding any levels of optimism given the negativity surrounding the mining industry at the moment?
Thanks, Gugu, and good to be here. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's some positive aspects that we can look forward to if we take a long-term view of the industry. I mean, I call it the imperative for innovation has never been greater in the industry, to really look at a new approach to developing mines, but also applying some of this to existing mines. And that's really looking at things that will transform how we mine to drive down costs, increase productivity. Is also a new way, which we call the development partner approach, to engage with communities and government to ensure that everybody shares more equally in the value of these resource projects and results in more diversified economies in the countries. So I think whilst on one side there's doom and gloom, on the other side I think the industry needs to shift and focus on longer-term innovation as well, and that will deliver some of the short-term benefits as well.
Where do we start, though? Does it mean that we need to see further consolidation in several industries in the mining fraternity, or does it begin with having those social pacts where we understand the economic, environmental and social implications of investments in mineral resources?
Sure, I think it starts in two places, Gugu. I think first place is exactly what you just mentioned, which is I think mining companies have to develop a new approach to engage with communities and governments and redefine really what the value of the projects are and how that's distributed, and also fulfill what, particularly local communities, what they want to see out of the resource development projects, and then that obviously rolls up to the regions and the countries in which those projects are. But also I think it requires a mindset change in the industry and to a degree, lesser degree, the stakeholders in terms of moving away from what I call incrementalism or incremental change to really look at transformative technologies that will affect, the water usage, electricity, and safety within the mines. I think the mining industry has been very resistant, interestingly, in the last 15 years to the application of some pretty amazing technologies that have had radical effect and impact in other industries, and that's resulted, if you like, in the spiraling of the operating costs of the mining industry. One fact that I like to share is that most commodity prices are 2 to 4 times still higher than they were 15 years ago in the year 2000, yet the industry cannot etch out much of a profit other than with the exception of a few low-cost producers. So no other industry has seen this situation. So I think there's a huge opportunity, and this is not about inventing new technology, it's about using and leveraging what already exists in other industries. What
about where the capital needs to come from?
Great question. We just had some great sessions in Indaba, Gugu, in terms of the capital. I think there's new approaches as well. This is not about employing large, vast amounts of capital. What we're seeing, from companies like GE and SpaceX and Tesla, that with much lower capital, you can do radical transformation. Again, a lot of the capital's parked. I mean, we're talking about the private equity funds being a source for that, the open markets. And I think you may see at some time new entrepreneurs entering the market that take a different view on how you mine and how you create relationships with the communities and other stakeholders.
We'll have to leave it there for today. Thank you so much for your time today, sir, giving us some analysis on what the future of mining looks like.